Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the likes and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, guys. Yes, we've hit 4K, but the journey doesn't stop there. Every new subscriber is going to be entered into the prize draw to try and win a Chelsea shirt of your choice for the upcoming season. So please do hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. But let's dive into today's video then, people. And we're going to be talking about Chelsea's midfield conundrum. Now, obviously, we had the news yesterday that a fourth bid for Moises Caicedo was rejected, £80 million. Fabrizio Romano saying 80 million with no add-ons. Ornstein saying 75 plus 5. Ultimately, £80 million was the package. Chelsea's fourth bid, as I said, we went in with 60, 65, 70, and now 80. And Chelsea have maintained all along that they're not going to pay more than £80 million for Moises Caicedo. So now we really see what the club's thoughts are and where we're going. Now, in my opinion, we just need to pay the money. We need to pay the £100 million, get this guy in, and just move on from this saga and not deal with Brighton again. Like, we've come so far down the road in this one. You know, I've always maintained from the start of the transfer window that we had to get Declan Rice or Moises Caicedo. Those were the two standout midfield players on the market, and we had to get one of them. Declan Rice went to Arsenal. We now have to get Moises Caicedo. It is a one-horse race for him, and yet we seem to be making really hard work of it. What I would say is that I think Caicedo's made a huge error on his part, whether it's himself or his representatives, that, you know, you want to leave the club. You sign a new deal in January and there's no release clause in it. That is really, really poor judgment on the representative's behalf, on his behalf. You know, that's not made things any easier. You know, you don't sign a new deal knowing you want to leave and there's no release clause at all, which is why this is obviously making things a little bit more difficult. Brighton, in fairness, have always maintained it's £100 million or close to £100 million total package. I still believe a deal could be done for 90 million, but, you know, I just make some mockery of what we're doing. You know, we've spent weeks, probably months, you know, locked in talks with Brighton. You know, we knew back in January that we wanted Moises Caicedo, and yet here we are coming up towards the end of end of July. You know, a couple of weeks to the season starts and we haven't secured our priority target. We haven't secured our priority position that needs strengthening. We need a partner for Enzo Fernandez. So what on earth have we been doing in those talks? What have we been trying to ascertain? I thought the whole point of these talks were that we didn't become, you know, engulfed in some publicly drawn out transfer saga, or that is exactly what we've got. So I don't really understand what the directors have been doing. I don't really understand what we've been doing. But now it's decision time for Chelsea, because yes, they say they've got alternatives if a deal can't be struck. But, you know, the longer this goes on, the more days that go by, those alternatives are going to that list is going to get shorter and shorter, and the quality is going to go down and down and down. And for me, I think we're at a point now where, you know, Brighton have got us bent over a barrel, basically. You know, we're desperate for a top-class midfield partner for Enzo Fernandez. You know, we haven't really got any bargaining power in a deal. They wanted Levi Colwill. That's off the table. Of course, involving Colwill would have made things a little bit easier for sure. But, you know, I'm going to be interested to see what Chelsea do next. For me, personally, we cannot afford to miss out on Caicedo. It would be an absolute disaster, because the next options down, good players, but nowhere near Caicedo's level, in my opinion. Not a transformative signing for the midfield, not ready to partner Enzo Fernandez or be a good partner for Enzo Fernandez straight away. So I'm really intrigued to see where Chelsea go from here. You know, we can't afford for another week to go by. No real progress, no bids gone in or anything like that. So, I mean, this saga is ridiculous. I mean, the whole point was to avoid something like this, and yet this is exactly what we've got. Yes, Brighton are difficult to deal with, but they hold all the aces. You know, they've got the player tied down on a new contract. They don't need to sell. They don't need the money. They've always maintained that's their asking price. Just the Enzo Fernandez deal and the Declan Rice deal have kind of allowed them to say that they want that. Fair enough. That seems to be the going rate at this point in time. But from a Chelsea perspective, we look shoddy and quite frankly embarrassing in these negotiations. What on earth have we been discussing? I've got absolutely no idea. And let's see what the club are going to do next, because, you know, as I say, it's 2 weeks to the season starts pretty much now. Massive game against Liverpool. We cannot afford to go into that Liverpool game with what? Enzo Fernandez, maybe partnered by an inexperienced Andre Santos, maybe a Chukwuemeka, or even worse, partnered by Conor Gallagher in the pivot. Like, that is an unforgivable situation to arrive at the first day of the season in. So we have got to do something about this, and whether that means we pay out the money or we walk away from Caicedo. For me, we cannot walk away. We have to come to some sort of agreement. Whether I think we can meet in the middle at £90 million, but guys, seriously, get a move on. What are we playing at here? Just get it done, get a move on. Caicedo doesn't want to be there. He's made it abundantly clear that he wants to join Chelsea. He wants the move. Now it's up to us to agree a fee. And yes, we probably had a set price in mind that we didn't want to go above, but with certain players, you have to just go above and beyond to get them. And that means breaking the bank and paying more than you need to. Then that needs to be done. 21 years of age, £100 million is a lot of money. But as someone that's already dominating Premier League midfield, he's already this good at 21. Think how much better he can get. He's got the Premier League experience as well. Yes, it's 18 months at Brighton, but this guy looks like a Kante regen. He's everything we need. He ticks every single box that we're looking for in our midfield. So we cannot afford to miss this out. Otherwise, we're putting ourselves at a massive disadvantage. But let's weigh up the other scenarios. And let's say we don't get Moises Caicedo. Chelsea maintain they've got a list of alternatives. Romeo Lavia is certainly on that list at Southampton. But Liverpool have put in an opening bid that was rejected. They're preparing a £45 million package for their second bid. Lavia very keen on the move to Liverpool. And Southampton are trying to hold out for a £50 million package. Chelsea, again, they say they maintain interest, and they've held talks with Lavia's representatives and stuff, and they're keen on him. And a hijack could occur of the Liverpool move. Well, guys, if we're going to hijack this move, we better get a shift on, guys. We better get a shift on. No bids have gone in from Romeo Lavia. This summer we've just been interested in, weighing up, personal terms agreed, FC. All three of those things. No one really knows what's going on. The fact that we're in the last week of July and we've had one senior incoming is, in my opinion, it's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace to be in that situation. But let's weigh up the Lavia situation. Now, you could argue Lavia at 18, okay, is about 6 months older than Andre Santos. 1 season in the Premier League. Looks a very, very good prospect. Joe Shields, who's at Chelsea, is a massive fan of Romeo Lavia. Took him to Man City, took him again to Southampton during his time there. He's of no doubt that Lavia can fit in and be a great addition to Chelsea. I think that's a fair thing to say. You look at it, and I like Caicedo a lot. But then if you're looking at it, guys, do you think that Romeo Lavia is better value at £50 million than Caicedo is at 100? But then you could also look at it. Lavia is less ready to partner Enzo full time right now. So it's a really difficult decision. Look, for sure, Lavia's got impressive strengths for his age. Also got big holes in his game as well. And right now, he probably wouldn't be the best partner for Enzo Fernandez. But I trust Joe Shields and his talent ID and his thoughts. He obviously knows the player very, very well. But Caicedo's not an 8. He's also not a DM. Lavia's not an 8, and he's also not a DM. So it wasn't who's going to be able to free Enzo up to go and play further up the pitch. Now, look, I like Romeo Lavia, but there's no two ways about it. For me, it is a drop-off in quality to go and sign him, and he's not ready to go and partner Enzo Fernandez full-time in the middle of the park, in my opinion, whereas Moises Caicedo is absolutely ready to do that. But, you look at the other alternatives. Yes, we've got Andre Santos, who's impressed in preseason, Cesare Casadei, who's also impressed in preseason, Carney Chukwuemeka potentially as well. But I don't look at Casadei or Chukwuemeka as pivot players. I look at Chukwuemeka as more of a number 8/number 10. The same with Casadei as well. You're really only looking at Andre Santos as a number 6 or a defensive-minded midfield player in that area of the park. And I think Santos will definitely have a role in the squad this season. I think it'd be a good rotation for Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo if he comes in. But we are so short in there. You look at the midfield options on the books right now: Enzo, Conor Gallagher, Chukwuemeka, Casadei, and Andre Santos. That's 5 midfielders, 2 of which haven't played a single competitive minute for the club. Another one in Chukwuemeka, who's very inexperienced and operates further up the pitch, and another one in Gallagher, who's the most senior midfielder at Chelsea in terms of senior appearances. And yet, 2 of those, or arguably 3 of those, aren't pivot players, and we're going to be predominantly employing a 4-2-3-1. So we are in an absolute mess here. I don't know how we've arrived in this situation. We've known for the longest time possible that we had to sign a number 6. We had to get a player in to partner Enzo Fernandez. Ideally, this should have been done for the pre-season tour. Caicedo comes in, let's say he does come in, he's not going to play, in my opinion, in any of our preseason matches. We've got Fulham on Sunday, and then we've got next Thursday, we've got Dortmund, last game of preseason. At most, he's going to have a couple of weeks training at Cobham with the boys ahead of that first game of the season. And that's not really enough to learn the ropes of the Pochettino system, get to know your new teammates and all that. So, it's really shoddy. It's shambolic from the club to allow ourselves to have even got into this position where we've been chasing our priority target all summer, and yet we still haven't got them. We must have known all along that Brighton wanted the £100 million for Caicedo. I don't know if we're playing a dangerous game of poker where we're hoping that they'll accept less money because they think less money would be better than keeping an unhappy player around the camp. I'm really not sure. But the midfield is a massive issue. We've got a big conundrum on our hands. Do we, because Romeo Lavia is definitely an alternative on the list, but if we don't get a move on, he's going to sign for Liverpool. And then who else is on the list? You know, Kefram Turam, Manu Kone are two names that spring to mind. But we are in big trouble, guys. There's no two ways about it. The lack of midfield signings is a massive concern. The lack of depth in midfield is a concern. The lack of quality in depth in the midfield is a concern as well. And no partner for Enzo Fernandez at this point in time. We are massively letting Enzo Fernandez down. We're massively letting Mauricio Pochettino down. And we're putting ourselves at a massive disadvantage come the start of the Premier League season. We don't pull our finger out and get this sorted within the next 10 days. But guys, that's just my thoughts on the midfield conundrum facing Chelsea at this point in time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Chelsea will sign Moises Caicedo? Is Romeo Lavia at £50 million a better value deal than Moises Caicedo for £100 million? Guys, make sure you let me know your thoughts. Make sure you smash the likes. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Every new subscriber will be in with a chance of winning a Chelsea shirt of your choice from the upcoming season. So make sure you subscribe. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you again in another video soon. Take care, up the Chelsea, and peace out, people.